Yeah, so one thing I will say is a lot of people will say people aren't searching Google, but you know what people are using? ChatGPT. And guess what ChatGPT searches? Google. I get so many emails that say, I found you on ChatGPT. Like, how is ChatGPT finding me? They're finding me via Google.
So, Shannon, it's so funny how one of the things that clients are the most surprised about is that social media marketing is just one part of their whole strategy.
It's amazing how businesses and how even small businesses and personal brands like think everything is social media related. And they just start posting and throwing spaghetti at the wall and don't realize you need a plan and you need to know who your audience is and you need to know where they're at. Like so many people are like, I'm going to open just today. I'm going to open a new Instagram account. Why? Why are you opening a new Instagram account? Because I have this business and I have this business already on Instagram. And now I feel like they all need to be separate. Don't separate them. Like make them all one. You're all one. A business should, I'm trying to think of a good example. Say like ABC Wellness Center has 4 different things they do. They wouldn't have, NAD therapy, GLP-1 therapy, and HRT all separated out. They'd have it all under one space. So personal brands and small businesses and even big businesses, I'm kind of like getting off the path of where we started, but it's like you need to have a plan.
Yeah. So I think to back up a little bit, maybe like when we talk about having a plan, I think we can explain why that's so important and what we kind of mean by that. What does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, it's sitting down and figuring out like your sales cycles, when things are busy for you, when things are slow for you, when you need to market more, when you need to take a step back. The biggest thing is when's your sales cycles and build your campaigns and your messaging around the sales cycles.
And I've had, businesses come to us and say, I don't know, or I don't have any. And I'm like, yeah, you do. You do. So there are, like, even if they may not feel like, because maybe you're just treading water and you're not even sure and you haven't taken a step back, but there's definite like ups and downs in the market. And like one example is summer. We always see a slump, in summer and right after the holidays. So, there's a down for some businesses, for others, those times are up. So it's really important to know where you're at in the cycle and so that you can prepare and build your plan accordingly. What other tips do we have for, just reframing why you need a plan and then maybe how to go about building one?
Well, how to go about building one is just sitting down and figuring out like when you do what during the year. We have a client that we work with for 7 years that it's just in my brain what we've done every year. And I think this was the first year I actually sat down and wrote down like, this is when we do this safety month. This is when we talk about like Halloween tips. I mean, just real obvious things like just seasonal things that they do all the time every year that all I do is just look at the data from last year and every year and just what worked and what didn't work. But now, like, instead of it just being here or in that sheet, like there's a roadmap for it. What
Yeah.
tips do you have?
I would say, yeah, putting it on paper because it living in your head and it being on paper, it really gets you to that step of then being able to get other people to help you with it. Like being able to delegate it or just being able to communicate it better to the rest of your team, being prepared for it because it may be in your head that, oh, yeah, September is like back to school month or whatever, but it's mid-August and like, what have you done to prepare for September? Like, get it on your calendar that this is going to be your content theme and you're like, here's the pieces of content that you need and here's what you did last year. I would also say ask your clients like what they're thinking about right now. Like, yeah, it's August. Are they thinking about back to school? Are they thinking about meal planning? Are they thinking about, whatever like content you think might serve them? Kind of ask, pull your audience.
Yeah, fall's a big time to, think about your goals too. I feel like a lot of people are like, once mid-June comes, they kind of like turn the blinders off to their goals. And then like the day after Labor Day, they're like, oh my God, it's September. I only have this amount of time left. I need to hit the ground running, and it's actually the best time right now to be figuring out what you need to be doing going forward for the end of the year, and maybe plan out the whole year from that. I know businesses that go July to June, and it works amazing for them. So just sitting down and just writing out like I need to do, and it doesn't have to be this elaborate plan. It could just be writing it in the notes on your phone.
Yeah, true. You don't have to make it super detailed because then you're kind of locked in and it's not as easy to change, and you may look at all that work that you put in and go, "Well, now I need to like shift this a little bit, and what about all this work I put into it?" I think it's okay to start working the plan and then get into it a little bit and you're like, "Oh, I should have been talking about this topic last month, and so now I'm going to shift ahead and, kind of recalibrate." And that is how we work a little bit with our clients. We keep things kind of broad, but then when we get to that month or when we start working on that next month, then we get really granular. What if you are feeling like you don't need a plan and like you're good, you're fine? What are the risks of not having a plan when it comes to this?
The risks, the number one risk to not having a plan is being reactive. And that is what we try to with clients that we work with. We try not to be reactive. We try to be just one step ahead. And I find that if you do not have some sort of plan, you're super reactive to things. A client that comes to mind, has classes every week, and we have to ask them every week, what's the class for this week? Well, best thing to do is maybe sit down and figure out what am I going to do for the next 3 months. If you can't do a whole year, I get that. Like maybe the best scenario is what am I going to do the next 3 months and figure out how to do that.
Yeah, I think you run also the risk of being really inconsistent in your marketing and especially social media. And then it's not really helping you at all if you're super inconsistent with it.
Yeah.
Um, and that goes along with being reactionary. It's like you can keep that up maybe for so long, but eventually then you're going to get busy, things are going to fall off, and then you're not going to post and it's going to go dead. And then all of that work that you put in is now you're back down at zero.
One of the things that I've been seeing a lot lately is somebody will spend a lot of money on Facebook ads, but not on their organic social media. And the risk they run is they are spending tens, thousands of dollars a month on ads for their product. And this is mostly like a consumer product. And not everybody's ready to buy at that point. They may be like, oh, this might be great for my son a few months from now. And they go to the social channels and they follow the social channel, and then like they don't post anything there. So you're not using that brand awareness. You're not reminding them to buy your product. Because a lot of times what will happen is somebody will run a bunch of Facebook ads and then they won't see anything from the Facebook ads because it takes a lot of testing to do Facebook ads. But if you get people following you from those ads and you're posting regular content, they'll remember you better.
Yeah, that trust builds up over time. This leads me to a good question, I think. Like, let's quickly go through what are some things that could be in your plan? Like, I know we said don't overthink it, but there is different channels. And so maybe we just kind of mention like a couple different things, like website content. If you're going to be putting up blogs or any kind of like website page updates, you want that to be kind of in your plan because you can reuse that. You can reuse that copy and those concepts in the other things. And then you mentioned ads.
Ads are one thing. I mean, you have to think of your plan as a circle with different little sections in it. And your website is super key. And your paid media versus your earned media. So paid media is anything you're paying for, and the earned is the organic things you're doing, like the content on your website, your social media, PR that you are sending out. That's like organic and earned. But like the paid things, it's not half of the pie. It's a small sliver. You want to plan out your PR for the year, or the next 3 months. You want to plan out your blog content, like you said, email marketing. You're the master at that. Like that is the thing that people leave on the table all the time, and it's just like it's the easiest thing you can do is send an email once a week.
Yeah. Yeah. Email marketing for sure. And then I was going to mention too, if there's any events, like anything in person, or any kind of, even if it's an online, like digital event. And you can also think of that as like launches. Like, are you going to launch a product and try to have a sale? Like, you could think of that as like, I'm having an event. And so get that in your plan so you can be priming everybody to get that. So we talk about blogging and we talk about website content, and there's kind of this like question about, is blogging still valid? Like, how do I, do I work that into my plan? What if I don't blog? Like, how do I do this? And then how do I take a blog and really maximize the value of it? Like, basically, we take a blog and we turn it into 5 to 7 pieces of content. Like, I kind of wanted to give people an idea of how we go about doing that.
Yeah. So one thing I will say is a lot of people will say people aren't searching Google, but you know what people are using? ChatGPT. And guess what ChatGPT searches? Google. I get so many emails that say, I found you on ChatGPT. Like, how is ChatGPT finding me? They're finding me via Google. So you still want a blog, but we will take a blog as the main source of our content and we will turn it into a podcast. We will turn it in to email marketing. We will turn it into at least 6 social posts. And those social posts can be a graphic, can be a carousel, can be video ideas. Just look at how you have the blog broken down or the content broken down, and you can easily turn it into those things. You could also, spoiler alert, take the blog and put it into ChatGPT and ask it.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's
It's
good for a few things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's love or hate ChatGPT. If you are a solopreneur or a small business and you're stretched on time, write the blog. I don't suggest having ChatGPT write the blog,
Mm-mm.
but take your blog that you've written and have ChatGPT break it out into an email, have it break it out into social media posts, have it write your captions, though keep your captions small because nobody reads captions. So
Yeah. I mean, always edit what it does, but yes.
always look to see if it's taking out the dashes and not using game changer in there.
Oh my God. Yeah. I think it's really helpful to see how ChatGPT will break it down because you'll start to see like the formula and it will come easier to you to where you go, oh, I can see like this paragraph. I just need to phrase it in like the form of a question or in the form of a strong statement and then give my bullet points why I think that. And that becomes like a carousel post. We always recommend updating website content and blog content for the SEO value, but also because it makes social media and all of your other content so much easier.
So much easier.
So much easier. So if you're struggling with coming up with a plan or coming up with then posts from what you do as a business owner or what your business is selling, I highly recommend starting with a blog post and going from there. Now that we have our content, and we're putting it out there, what are some ways that we can start to measure if it's working or not? Because a lot of people like have certain metrics that they like, and we don't know if we have opinions about whether or not those are actually metrics that we're going to value. For instance, Shannon, likes. Do we like likes?
I mean, here's the thing, if you're new to posting to social media, this is where we see people give up. We see people give up because they're not seeing the comments and they're not seeing the views. They're not seeing the engagement. What we're seeing on social media is a shift from people tapping and commenting to people swiping. And since we're seeing the people swipe now, we're seeing less. I definitely am liking things less and reading comments and captions less, especially if it's a carousel. So I'll swipe through it. And if it's a video, I will watch it and then swipe and I'm done. Or if it's a long video and I just don't have the patience, swiping away. So we're seeing less engagement. And so places like TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, the metric they're really looking at is views. And if 300 people view your content, that's 300 people that viewed your content. So just because it doesn't have 1 million views or 10,000 views, but it has 300, that's better than 0.
What are some good metrics? So you said views is a great metric. Likes is something that you just got to set aside. I do feel like likes is kind of a ego driven metric. Like, let's just not.
It's like the follower count is ego driven. It's a
Yeah.
vanity metric. Follower count should grow steady over time. Should grow. We do see when we start working with clients that haven't really posted, we'll see a follower drop in the beginning. I had a client a few years ago that was like furious that she lost followers. And it's just like, kind of like, but your engagement was up. The engagement was through the roof. And you have to kind of shift the mindset a little bit. It's not about the vanity. It's not about the followers. Followers doesn't equal money.
And a lot of times, if you haven't been posting, those are people that have kind of forgotten about you or have moved or whatever. And, maybe they don't need your product anymore. So it's kind of like you're clearing away what you don't need to make room for the community that you're cultivating. I just had this conversation with a business owner who took over another business and therefore the old business's Instagram account. And one of the products that they make is cookies that have like cheeky phrases on them. And she was saying, yeah, I posted some cookies that I made that were like sort of adult humor. And we lost 60 followers. And she goes, you know what? I don't care. And I go, that is exactly the attitude to have because those were not your people. They were not going to walk into your store, look at your cookies, and buy them. They were going to walk out anyways. So you might as well just save y'all some time, and keep doing what you're doing and keep speaking to your audience. So I think it's key to remember the audience that you're serving wants content and wisdom from you and wants you are selling them something. So keep it relevant to them. But like if you're delivering on that and then you're losing followers, then don't sweat that.
So if you were a business and you were feeling overwhelmed, where would you start?
I would go back to that marketing plan and then look at that marketing plan and think, okay, I know I have a sales cycle coming up, or I know I have a promotion. So, what are some blogs I could write, or what's the website content I could write around that? And, or maybe what's a question that I need to answer that I get asked a lot? And that can be a blog topic. And then I would break down, however far into the future you feel comfortable going 3 months, 6 months, a year. I would break it down and start penciling out the blog topics and then just make a commitment to be every month writing a blog for the month ahead or whatever time you want to do it in, and then start with breaking that blog down into some smaller pieces. I think the priority pieces, like, and it depends on the business too, where you're posting and what exactly you're posting. But the website content, we always say start with your website. So the blog, it's really easy and low cost and highly trackable to do email. So then I would say write your emails and just get those scheduled, like get them scheduled to go out so you don't even have to think about it. And then look at doing a couple posts a week based on that one blog. You can work a blog to be your entire month of content. So that's what I would say.
That's my favorite hack. When we have clients, when we start to work with somebody, it's like, oh, having a blog makes it so much easier on yourself. It makes it so much easier on us, but it makes it so much easier on you if you start from that starting point, content wise, because so many things come out of it. The videos that you make, the carousels, the graphics, the photos, the things that go on Pinterest. It's endless. The emails is endless. This helps. It's a guy. It's like your little North Star.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And I think if you're listening to this and you're going, I don't write, I'm not a writer. You don't have to be Longfellow or anything. Like you don't have to be a professional writer to write a blog. What you do is you speak from your experience and your expertise. Like you're in this business because you're passionate about it. There's something that you have to share. So, do your best to map out the topics and then pick one that you're most excited about and just see what comes out on the page.
I will personally say this is something that I need to be held accountable for because my personal brand, Hey Shannon Lee, I should be pumping out 4 blogs a month and they're easy for me to do. And I just haven't been doing it. And the social has been like the anchor to things. But I will tell you that, I make money off the blogs when I post them.
Yeah. And it's really great to see like they're a good tool for what your audience likes. You can look at your Google Analytics. So make sure that you do have, if you're going to do blogging and email, be looking at your metrics because that can be really good feedback. And, for clients, we batch these things. So it's every month we're writing enough blogs for the next 2 months. And then we take the blogs and we break it into emails. But yeah, if it's not like on your list or in your calendar or whatever, like project tracker you're using, it can fall off. So when you sit down to write this plan, the next step is then to put that somewhere else so that it will get executed, whether that's a calendar reminder, an Asana list, like whatever works for you. And then another thing to what you just said, Shannon, is being held accountable. I know that being in a business with a business partner is the best thing for me and my accountability. So
I don't know. Maybe you need to crack the whip on me.
I don't know, like, yeah. So I know that I need external accountability. So maybe just take a little minute and go, what do I really need to be accountable? And if it's external, ask for another, friend, business partner, spouse, whatever, to just ask you about it. Or even just say like, hey, I have a goal to write some website content in a couple weeks from now. Ask me about it. Just ask me about it. Knowing that someone is going to ask me about it, that's enough. Usually that's enough for me to be like, oh, I better do this because I.
If I block the time out on my calendar, which I've gotten really out of the habit of doing, for a certain task, it will get done. Like I would be like, okay, this is my time to work on this blog, so this is my time to work on UGC, or this is my dash time. I tend to like do my creative projects in the afternoon. Maybe I should just do that. Maybe you guys need to hold me accountable.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. I love that tip too, is like blocking it out because then it's like, okay, I've set aside this time to do this. I don't need to schedule anything else over it. Maybe it's like I'm giving myself permission to sit here and work on this and not try to go put out all the other fires that are happening in my business. Like, yeah, you need to work on this. It is important. For more tips like this, follow Dash.